I'd been told that because of my last birth, I was classified as high risk because my last birth was an emergency caesarean, and then my first birth was complicated as well. So, but I was adamant that actually, no, third time lucky. I still think I can do this. I did a lot of research, but I just came up against a lot of negative statistical data, which actually still didn't override the fact that having another caesarean is more risky than having a natural birth after you've had a caesarean. So I was just quite unsupported, and a very dear friend of mine who'd had Caroline as a midwife for her births bought me Caroline as a present, and because she just wanted me to have a positive experience. And so then I met Caroline, and it just changed everything. It changed how I felt about the thought of having another child. I knew I could do it. I just felt like I was never supported enough because I had so many changes of midwives. There's a lot of fear that came through, the doctors and the other midwives, and just that real personal touch. They don't always have just the compassion, or there's something, the warmth, and that really makes a difference, I think, when you're birthing. And so then to suddenly meet Caroline and just know that she's totally qualified, knows what she's talking about, but for me, just that there was just this connection of this woman going, of course you can do it, of course you can. And it was just like, oh, that's what I needed to hear. It was such a relief. And so even though I had her later on in my pregnancy, the last sort of 6 to 8 weeks, it just made me, I felt strong enough to say, you know what, I do actually want a home birth. Yeah, my husband, I promised him that I would have a hospital birth because the last 2 had been so bad. So when we did actually, get to birth time, we had an idea of what we wanted to do. And actually, because I was classified as high risk, I'd have to go into a high risk unit, and I was just like, no, you're not. When we went with Caroline on the tour around the hospital at Poole, and they said, this is what you have to have, and you've got to have a monitor, you've got to have the, they put the drip thing in. And I was like, no one's doing any of that to me. You don't have to do that. I can say no. And I was so sort of solid with my vision, or just my intention to give it all, my best. And in the end, it's a bit of a long story, but it's amazing because I did want to see the natural birth suite just to have an idea, which is so close to the special, the high risk unit. And in the end, I spoke to the midwife there, and I was okay. They agreed that I could actually birth in the natural unit as opposed to and I was the first woman to have done that. I think maybe the rules have changed now, I'm not sure the laws, but they weren't changed by the time that I did it. So it was a bit like, oh no, you have to go high risk. It was like, no, I'm not. You're not doing anything to me. So in the end, I was allowed to go into the natural birth unit and allowed to birth, I say on my own, but just not have any of this, clipboards and, oh, you must do this and dilate 1 centimetre an hour, and to have Caroline there at home, and then we went to hospital. It was just fantastic. It's the best present I've ever had, because I did have a natural birth, and we ended up having a water birth, and I had my daughter. And I've got this brilliant photo of me, and I love this photo because it's just like, I did it! Just absolutely so proud of myself. And in hindsight now, knowing what Caroline, what she brought to me and how she empowered me, I know that I didn't have to have those other 2 births, my emergency caesarean. I know, I just know it. Gut feeling that I actually could have had those a really positive experience had I had the care and consistency of care that I had with Caroline. So I'm just want to support, you know, the fact that having a private midwife, I don't know if private's the right word, but being able to choose, you know, you should be able to choose what you want to have in terms of your birth experience and who you want to have. And these are experienced women, you know, and if midwives can't practice privately, then I think neither should doctors, then neither should surgeons, you know, so why should they be any different? And so that's why I'm here today, really, to just support Caroline, Erica and all independent midwives. They listen, and there's I think I mentioned it earlier, they just have a real warmth. They genuinely want you to have the most positive birth experience, and they empower you from within that you can actually do it. You are, you know, this is what we're made for as women, so why on earth, you know, of course it's like you're entitled to it. And so to have someone say that to you, I think, is a really empowering thing. Other qualities, well, I know, you know, she was completely knowledgeable and, you know, medically qualified, so I had complete confidence, but there was just, she was just real, you know, and compassionate, and we had a lot of laughs as well. It was fun. Even the labour was funny to some degree. With my eyes open, I could say that, but not, you know, yeah, just support, absolutely 100% trust I had in her, and the support that she gave me was, it was just solid. I just knew I was safe, and to feel safe when you're in labour, I think, is the key to really allowing yourself to freely be in labour. So I think it's every woman's right to have that choice. Yeah, and I feel like, you know, proof's in the pudding. I had an incredible birth with my third child, and just very grateful, really, that I could have someone like Caroline.